All right, so let's continue to build on what we worked on before. I know as sort of an assignment, I was saying to go ahead and complete all the walls, but I wanted to show you just a couple more modeling tools that you can use to sort of speed up the process. Um, so let's talk a little bit about how you can actually edit the geometry. So I'm going to select this back wall here and then hit F like Frank. And I want to insert an edge loop here and then I just continue to extrude out all the way around and get these to match up. Now, ideally, there is a certain workflow depending on how you want to build a room where you would extrude it all as one piece or you would have external walls. There are also ways to optimize this, which I will get into when we get into bringing it into another DCC tool like Blender or Maya or so forth. So anyway, with this piece selected, we're going to look for our Polyedit section again, which is under Poly Model. And then off to the side here, you'll see we have all these options. And under Shape Edit, you'll see Insert Edge Loop. This will allow you to insert a vertical or horizontal loop. I'm going to just insert a loop right on the edge here. And then I'm going to go back here and hit Done, and then hit Extrude. And I'm going to extrude this face out. And what we're going to do is we're just going to extrude it up to here. And with that face still selected, I'm going to extrude again. And just kind of close this off. Now what I'm sort of doing here is, even with the things on the inside, I'm just making more representational pieces before I get into the creation of the actual assets and textures in programs, like I said, Blender or Maya, or in Substance Painter. So for instance, you can see there's a bathtub here. And if I'd like to make a quick representational bathtub, what I can do is like bathtub and toilet and sink and stuff, is I can just really work on this polycube here, place it, and then go back to my, let's go ahead and hit escape to complete that. Go down to Polyedit here, select this face, pull it out, and just roughly make that shape. And another thing I like to do is I like to move my starter point somewhere near the area. So let's go ahead and hit accept here, and here's my place start, and I'm going to go ahead and hit W and just sort of move this into where the shower area is. Another thing I should have done is just kind of zeroed out the Z-axis on all of these, but for now let me just show you this. So I'm going to hit Control, or Alt P rather, and I'm going to walk up, and it's pretty high bathtub. So I can always edit that later, and it looks like I messed up on that edge, but that should be okay because they have a slant anyway. So even if I go into Polyedit and I like that or not, but I can actually just grab this edge here, just kind of line it up. And remember, these are all representational, so they don't necessarily have to be perfect. So let's grab this face here, and I'm going to use a Inset Tool. And what I can do is I can just sort of inset that, something like that. And you can see it created that face on the inside. Let's move this over just a little bit. And then let's hit Polyedit. And then, you know what? It looks like, let's do that one more time. Here, let's select this face. And let's see, there we go. That looks better. Okay, there we go. It did what I wanted to. And then let's extrude that down. Now you can see we have like a rough representation of a bathtub. And I'm going to go ahead and accept that. And if we want to, scale it down, we can play with those values. But like I was saying, we'll bring it in later into an actual tool like Blender or Maya. Okay, so there's our bathtub. And let's see if we can zero all this stuff out. So you can see here, down in our details panel, because our pivot point, let me zoom in to show you that. I hit F to zoom in. It's at the bottom here. I can zero this out and it'll go to the base of our grid, which is good because let's do this for all the walls too. And we really should start getting these into, bring that down, bring this down, into putting these walls into folders. And I'm going to go ahead and go to my right view as well and just make sure that this map that we had is down below as well. And let's grab this piece here. That's our, I think our porch. And all right, so it looks okay. Are these zeroed out? Maybe, oh, you know what? This pivot point is not at the base. So let's just line it back up here. And if we'd like to move the pivot point, you can see it says pivot here. You can just kind of drag that down. If you want to center your pivot point, which is oftentimes you want to do in your modeling, there's all these points here where you can align, convert, and then all that good stuff. And then in here you can go to center, top, left, right. Actually, let's click on bottom. There we go. So that made it a little bit easier. And let's hit accept here. All right, so let's go back to perspective. Let's make sure our starter point is also zeroed out here. Well, it seems like it's in the middle, so we might want to just place it ourselves. So something like this. And, oh, well, here. Let's move this back up a little bit so it aligns. See our grid as looks like my pivot on this got screwed up too. All right, let's center, let's do pivot. Let's pivot it. And let's try at the bottom here. Let's see if that gets us closer to 0. You know what? Let's set our pivot to the top. Put that at 0. See if that works for us. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. All right, let's hit Alt and P. There we go. So now things are a little bit aligned, aligned a little better. And when we go to create things like cubes and stuff, it will sit right on top of that. So let's create a box here. You can see, and they naturally snap anyway. But if we want to do any sort of grid drawing, any more grid drawing, because our grid is based on the 0 position. So if we go to cube grid, you can see now it builds right on top of that. So if that's your preferred modeling method. All right, so I'm going to end this video here. And like I was saying, I'll do one, actually, I take that back. Let me do one more thing. Like I'll do this kitchen table or something. Oh, actually looks like it's the kitchen counter with a sink. So maybe we'll do a desk or something just to show you how to build a representational maybe desk that would sit. I don't know if this is the entrance to the office. This is the other entrance. We'll put a desk right here. So I just want to show you briefly how to build a representational desk. So we can go to box here, and then I'm going to hit complete. And let's just, I'm going to bring this up a little bit. Actually, let's go ahead and make another box right here. Let's hit complete on that. All right, so I'm going to Polyedit this. See, right up here. I'm just going to scale down the top of the desk like that. And I'll accept that, and then let's hit E, or R rather, and let's just scale it out. Nothing too amazing. But what I want to show you is for the leg here, let's go ahead and make a quadded cylinder. Now, for me, I don't like to use, and when I get into the modeling, I'll explain this a little bit more. I don't like to use the default spheres and cylinders because they have lots of triangles in them, and I like to keep it all quads, which is like, you see how this has 4 edges, that's a quad. So you might be wondering, well, how do I create a sphere out of a cube? Well, you can actually subdivide it or smooth it. And so if I wanted to make a cylindrical table leg, we can do something like this. So let's find our subdivision tool here, which is here. Notice it became a sphere and it has all these quads on it. And if we take our subdivision level down, you can see we could adjust the number. Now what's interesting is, I'm going to cancel that. If we add an edge loop here and here, what you end up getting is actually, it'll hold the shape a little bit better of the box and just smooth it out. So let's find our Polyedit again. And this time I'm going to insert an edge loop at the top here, and then one more at the bottom. And then I'm going to accept that, and then I'm going to find that subdivision tool again. Now you'll see that because those edges are holding that top end shape, it gave that to me. Now I don't need it that high, so I'm just going to make it a 1. I'm going to hit accept. And now what I can do is just kind of scale that down and scale it up from the base. And a lot of times what I also do is I kind of will delete the faces that are not shown. Not kind of, I really do that all the time because it's just a waste of geometry. So I can actually delete this top face here. But for now, I might use this cylinder for something else later. So I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can select all of those faces. It looks like. See if I could select this, and let's just grab all of those if we can. Come on. There we go. And I'm just going to move that down. See, did I get them all? No, it looks like I didn't get them all. Let's go a little bit wider. There we go. Okay. All right, let's accept that. Let's see if we can duplicate this without it treating it as one object. So I'm holding Alt here to duplicate. Now this may or may not work because when you copy like that, it's just assuming that you're creating sort of a clone of that original one. But I want to see if I merge this, if it'll work. So let's see. Here we go, merge. Yep, it looks like it merged it together. I'm gonna hit accept, and there's our table. Now I'm gonna undo that because obviously you can see there's a problem here. So I'm gonna shift this over, and then let's try that one more time. Maybe we'll select both of these legs, bring them in a little bit. So we have like a very rough table, and what's important about this is when we're gray boxing out our scene, we can just duplicate this table in a million places. Man, I am like really struggling to get this to. There we go. So let's merge, let's accept, and now we have a office table that we can use here. If you want to throw one, I don't know, in the kitchen, which doesn't look like it's a very roomy kitchen, but I can hold Alt and I can drag this in the dining room, and then I can edit this table. Maybe I might have to redo something else and rename it, but notice though, if I go into my AL Demargin House 01, you'll let's rename this table actually. You'll see that we have our different pieces. Sometimes it needs to like update or refresh. So see how it says table and then table instance. But I think that's good. This video is getting a little long. We're at 13 minutes. So yeah, just keep plugging away. Get all the walls in there, and try to make a chair. Try to make other things and populate the room.